beats.
Man, this is the Players Pit Power Hour. Every Wednesday, 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. live in the Players Pit community on Facebook, aka the Players Pit with D-Son, YouTube, the Players Pit Show, the League of Extraordinary Chicagoans, Twitch, LEC Pod Network. Oh man, I'm getting real good with the plug. Oh my God, man, WGN put me on. But with that being said, man, special guest today, man. Special guest. Non-profit founder, man. Wide receiver extraordinaire. You understand what I'm saying? Head coach for Morgan Park. Give it up for my man CJ Chris James. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good, man. How you, man?
Man, I'm all good, man. It's first of all, man, I just want to tell you, I want to give you your flowers.
No, don't do that to me, man.
I'll give you your flowers. The first time, and I didn't know CJ at the time. But anybody who knows the Flag Football League, at the time it was CBL.
That sounds like
at the time it was CBL. It wasn't A2. I hope I'm not showing my age to anybody. But it was just this dude out there, like, just jumping over everybody. Like, it was different. It was different.
Hey.
Like, you got receivers out there. You be like, yeah, dude, cold. You be like, and then you might even say, yeah, dude. Like, when we talk about elites.
I was just thinking that. We ain't saying that word no more today. We're not saying that word no more today. I don't want no. I get involved on the Players Pit and all the debates. I ain't getting in that. Before I could even make a comment, I say, no, I ain't doing this. I'm going to leave that up to Dedrick.
I want you to shout outs to Dedrick too. I want you to know though, before we get off, I'm gonna put your feet to the fire with a question though. I just want you to know that. You know what I mean? Before we get up out of here.
Oh shit.
But yo.
Okay, cool.
I want everybody to know how we even got here, right? How we even got here. I want to say it was last week. If it wasn't last week, yeah, it was like last week. Travis Hunter, number one recruit in the nation, signed with Jackson State University, historically black college, HBCU. Shout out to the HBCUs, by the way. Got my man Prime over there, Deion Sanders, the greatest cornerback of all time. People also consider him one of the greatest, not just one of the greatest cornerbacks of all time. Well, the greatest.
One of the greatest athletes.
One of the greatest athletes of all time. Like one of the greatest athletes of all time. So he's in the HBCU, specifically at Jackson State, moving to New York.
Jackson State.
And it was a big uproar, not just in the pit, but in the sporting world.
Everywhere in the sporting world. Everywhere.
Yeah. About what's about like, is the tide about to start changing? For
changing,
changing for athletes now going into staying within the HBCU realm,
HBCU,
and things of that nature. And while it was exploding in the pit with debates and things like that, CJ actually ended up hitting me like, "Yo, like, bro, like, I about to go on a tangent,
I ain't about to,
Instead of that, man, let's just do a show. I was like, you know what, man, say less. And that's just to let y'all know how accessible I am for anybody to come up on here. Like, when you hit me up and say, like, yo, like, I got, like, and it's gonna add value to the show, to the stream, to the content. Like, okay, let's do it. I was like, yo, can you do next week? You know what I mean? And we about to get straight to it with that, man. So first off, I want to know, and my first question to you, C, is how do you feel more so about the signing? Like, do you think it's a big coup for Jackson State? I'm gonna start there. I don't want to overload the first question, but do you think it's a great move for the college, for the university?
I think it's a big deal for them. Like, don't get me wrong, it's only, and I'm not gonna be negative. I'm gonna try not to be negative. It's only every year, it's only 25 to 30 5-star athletes. That's why it's like a big deal for you to get one. So for like them to get one, knowing what I know they up against, is like a huge deal, like a big deal. But with the NIL, it make it easier to swindle some of those kids to persuade them to going from a Power 5. So for Jackson State, even for Travis, like to be It's a huge deal. I'm never gonna downplay that. That's big. Like you get one of the top 30 players in the country. Most of the 5 stars got like talent to go to the NFL. All of them got all the talent to go to the. It's the other stuff that come with it that say if they're gonna go to the league. That's just is what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Guys, I want to ask you guys a question in the stream because I'm not sure if the stream is acting up or if the, you know what I mean, because it's
it might be my phone.
I didn't know if it was mine or not, but we're gonna keep going. As long as you can hear me, we good. As long as you can hear me, we good. We'll keep it going. Now you speak of being a great move for Jackson. Now I want to double down on that, right, and ask you, what about the kid? What about Travis? Do you think that, and we just have a candid conversation, do you think it's a great move for him as an athlete, as a potential pro?
That's why I feel like you don't know yet. Like I can't say like yes or no. It's gonna be about like one, how they develop him. Like because at the end of the day, it still takes 2 to 3 years to get ready to play in the NFL. Do he got the potential to play in the NFL? Yeah. Yes. And the big thing is, what's it going to look like his freshman and sophomore year? How are they going to develop him in the weight room? How are they going to develop him in the classroom, on the field from a competitive standpoint? The one thing like he's not going to get is like he's not going to play against pros every week. Like he's not going to play against pros or potential pros every week. So could that slow down his development? Possibly. I think you just got to, with him, you don't know if it's a good move for him yet. You just don't. It's just too many things that got to happen. It's a lot of things that got to happen if you go to a Power 5 for you to play. You just don't. You can't say that it's a good move for him. Is it a good move for Jackson State? Hell yeah. That notoriety, that kids coming to the school, that all of that. That's great. Everybody talked about it on signing day. Did nobody talk about Alabama recruiting class? Everybody talked about Jackson State.
Yeah.
Like that's great for them. But for Travis, he got his NIL deal. You don't know what his deal is. You don't know. It could be 1.5. I know for sure it ain't nothing for less than $500,000. Nothing less than that. Easily off the rip.
I think that and this was a big debate inside of the pit. A lot of people were saying, well, you know, like it's probably not going to hurt him because, well, they were emphatically saying it's not going to hurt him because he was the number one guy for
no, football don't work like that. No.
And this is something that I kind of want to get into because I feel like, and I said this in the pit, and I also, when I talked to a few people where I was talking about the differences to me, and you can feel free because you know a lot more about this than me. The differences to me, I feel like it's different for, say, like a number one recruit in basketball.
Yeah. Because you ain't gonna be there for 6 months.
You might only be there for 6 months.
And
right?
This is the thing about like football. It's such a physical game. Like he's not the body he got right now is not the body he's gonna play in the NFL. It's not the body that he's gonna play college with. He can't play college with the body here right now. And that's where like the difference comes in at, like from a Power 5 to HBCU and the resources that they got in the weight room and like how they gonna develop him. He might be 180 right now. He gonna play at 195, 202. How fast can Jackson State's lifting program get him there? Yeah, he a top-notch athlete, but he still has to be developed from a football standpoint, physically for real, because the guys that he playing against in high school being a 5-star player is not the guys that he finna play in college, one, and it's damn sure not the people that he gonna play. So you can't say that it's a guarantee. You can't. Like, okay, if you look at, let's take a receiver in the league that's dominated, that was a 2-star player, that was a first-round pick, Justin Jefferson. Do you think the LSU program developed him? If he go to Southern or if he go to LSU, what developed him better? Like what developed him? And this is where the resources that I wanted to get into and saying, like, if you've never been to one of these schools or never seen like what it's like and what Jackson State don't have and what LSU or even Florida State, because they pulled them from Florida State,
right? What
they have and how they got to keep that kid happy. They got to keep that kid happy, because if not, he gone. He on the first flight out of there. Like, I'll give you a resource. So he got offered by Alabama. Alabama has a chef in the weight room. So I'm saying you developing meals for my body. You're not gonna get that at Jackson State.
Mm-hmm.
Why you think they producing like they are? Because they still developing the kids. Like it's not like we gotta see. I don't want to say it's a bad move, but you really gotta see. It's such like it's a big ass gap between HBCU. It's so many like things you can hit on that's in between it. I think that people got too excited. Mm-hmm. And Shan is just like, it's not even the beginning. It's like the preface to the book. Okay, you got him. What you know how much stuff you got to do next? Well, what you got to do to keep him? And what if he get drafted in the 6th or 7th round?
Mm-hmm.
Then what people gonna say about him now? If he a 21-year-old, can he mentally deal with that? Like, damn, I went the 6th round. Somebody gonna say to him, if you would have went to Florida, you would have been in the 1st round.
Right. Yeah.
Now he done lost on $9 million.
Yeah.
So I just think they got a lot of work to do. They got a shit ton of work to do.
As somebody as yourself, who played at the University of Illinois, I'm sure had other D1 offers.
Yeah.
And now coaching, I'm pretty sure maybe even hooked up your kids that you coach with, with visits and things of that nature. I'm not sure if you've been on the visits with your kids as well.
Oh yeah, I've been on a good amount of visits. A good amount of visits.
I want you to kind of really expand on that gap difference where you talk about like resources and facilities and things of that nature, right?
Right.
Because for casuals and somebody like me who I've never been on a college visit as an athlete, right?
Right.
So I don't know the difference between, say, a USC, a Florida, Miami, and a Jackson State or South Carolina State or anything of that nature. Can you kind of expand on what the difference is? Like as an athlete, you walk you walk on campus and you see these different facilities, you see these different resources. How big is that gap?
Well, let's the first one, the biggest one, right, is money, right? They're FCS school. So a lot of people don't know this one thing. At D1 AA's, at D1 A's, let's take Max and let's take Power Fives, Group of Five schools. They can only offer you a full ride. They can't offer you, once they offer you a scholarship, they get 85 full rides. That's it. At Jackson State, at the FCS level, they get 63, but they can break him up. So they can give Travis Hunter 60%. They can give him a full ride, but that means that roster gonna be slighted. Like it's gonna be somebody only getting 20%, and you got 110 kids on the team. The next thing, that's the biggest thing between Group of Fives, Power Fives, and FCS, because they're FCS. They don't get a cost of attendance check every month. What that means is if you had a Power Five or a Group of Five, you get a scholarship check every month based on cost of attendance. Now let's take Michigan State, for example, or Florida State. The kids on the team get a check for $3,200 a month. To pay your rent, and the rest yours. You don't get that. Deion said that, like, we got to do something about, because he know, like, that's the biggest issue, like just money. And then kids still need financial aid. So if you go to a Group of Five, you getting your Pell Grant. So not only you getting the $3,200, you getting the $5,000 into your pocket. And when I was at Illinois, we had this thing called the Opportunity Fund where they gave us another $3,000. So people were saying college athletes wasn't getting paid, but we was getting some money. On top of that, at a place like, let's just take NIU. They giving you 3 meals a day through the football team, not through the dorms or the meal cards or whatever. I never used that. So you just take that, right? You take that for example. Then they probably have one academic support person for the whole team. Wow. But if you go to a group of five or back, they got one for every position group. Yeah. So kids that's struggling, and we ain't talking about the weight room, we ain't talking about the staff. At Bama, they had coaches that was former head coaches that wanted to get their buyout money, that was analysts. So they self-scout in the team. Like, I can't even begin to tell. Like, when we lift in the weight room, it's 2 athletes per one coach. 2 on a 115-person team. So at Jackson State, you in the weight room, it's 2 coaches in there for all 30. So where's the individual attention you getting You need, so that's why you see a kid come out of high school and he 170, 185. And then you see him again when he come home and he 210. Because when he left the weight room, he got a meal that was for him. He got whatever he needed. He could come into the stadium and get whatever he wanted. On top of the money he already got in his pocket. I haven't even talked about, okay, when Deion got to Jackson State, they put $3 million into facilities. Dope. Illinois just spent $80 million. Like it was Illinois. And I went there.
And that's Illinois.
That's Illinois. They spent
Right.
80. They spent $80 million on a new football facility so kids the anti-gravity chairs and all of that. So yeah, you might get Travis Hunter. And the thing now is you have to keep him happy, because the one thing I know about the kids, he gonna talk to his homie at Georgia. Yeah, we getting ready to play Florida on ABC at 7:00. Hey, I'm getting ready to play in a national championship game. You get per diem. They're gonna get them kids a per diem of $4,200 for the week. What did they make it? Then they get another $4,200 and they playing in the Natty, which is the other problem with the HBCUs.
They don't. Yeah.
Why the fuck don't they play in the FCS playoff?
Yeah, because I think I saw somebody say that in the group. I was like, wait, how does that even work?
I don't even know how that happens or how that works. So boom, you Travis Hunter. Who are you playing every week? So now you get to school, and y'all going to play Southern, and the stands empty at halftime. And you looking like, damn, like I thought they was coming to see me. Not when you playing at Jackson State, because my best experiences wasn't playing at home. It was playing at Michigan State, playing at Penn State, playing at Ohio State, or going up to Nebraska and playing them. I remember playing against Ray Rice, and it was packed because he was a Heisman candidate.
Yeah.
Like, so what is his playing experience gonna be like? Do you know how that kid gonna feel? I was the #1 player in the country and everybody just left at halftime. People, I've never been to an HBCU school and seen that, but everybody say the same thing, like that they leave. So I feel good about him. I just know, like, man, I feel like it's unfair to Deion, the amount of pressure we finna put on him. Like they got this kid, then they go on TV and get their ass beat. So like, what's next? And then the Georgia coach is gonna keep calling, hey kid, come on. You ain't getting no. He got his NIL deal. He's straight. What about his teammate?
What about everybody else? Yeah.
What about his teammate that's on the 50%? That's second in the team in catches. To be like, Deion, where my cheese at?
And that can breed all sorts of shit. Jealousy.
Man,
you know what I mean?
You get in the locker room, they don't like you. It's like, I'm happy for them. I don't want to sound negative. I just been on these visits. And if you get everybody in the pit, go on YouTube and look at Alabama. Alabama ain't losing no recruit. Florida State some shit right now. Like some shit. At the end of the day, and that kid got his money. He had to make a big splash marketing-wise to get that money. That's cool. That's great for him. But how is he? You got to develop him. Like, you have to develop him. Like, Diggs play for the Cowboys? Yeah. Right? He having a great year. How did he get better? Who is he playing against every week? Who did he practice against every day?
That's something
he practiced against. He practiced against Devontae Smith, Henry Ruggs, Jerry Jeudy every day. Then he had one weekend where he played against Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, who ate his ass up, and Terrence Marshall. Then he played every week. That's him getting better. How was he developing?
He's playing every week in the SEC.
He playing every week in the SEC. So he playing against the kid from Southern. Like, he gonna eat it. He gonna tear him. He's just way more talented than that. And it's like, I'm happy for Deion, but I know the pressure that's about to come, even directly from that kid. Like, yo, what's up? Why we ain't getting nothing to eat? But Deion gonna do that for Jackson State. Deion could do that at Jackson State. What's homie that used to be the offensive coordinator for the Bengals that's just left?
Yeah, Hugh Jackson.
He can't do that shit. You can't do that. That ain't finna. Man, them people gotta, man.
And that's why, I want to touch on two things, and that's why I don't believe that, D1, like the big D1 programs, hell, I don't even think and you correct me, I don't even think the mid majors are really bugging too much, because it's like, okay, like you got one, but we can get like 16 to 17 more of these guys.
Yeah.
And
so your other 35 stars, where did they go?
Where do they go?
Okay, we lost one kid. And remember what I told when I called you on the phone? I said, you're seeing Deion. You're seeing Deion. Like, that happened. What is their response going to be? Mm-hmm. What's their, like, okay, we're going to make sure that never happen again.
Yeah, because the very next day was the bill, right?
Oh.
Yeah, I was about to say, the very next day when I talked to you, the bill passed.
The bill passed. They passed law. You can't push a kid with an NIL deal to go to a school. Oh. Okay. What's the deal? Like that.
Speaking of NIL, I always thought that the NIL was going to be one of those things that was going to possibly like bridge the gap between like the smaller programs and the bigger.
No, it's going to make it worse. Right? It's going to make it worse.
I didn't really think about it and say like, well, now we ain't got to hide that we can play these athletes. Like what?
Hey, listen, man. To tell you the truth. If Tyler Perry don't get involved with somebody with some bees get involved with the HBCUs, it could get out of hand. It can get out of, like, for example, what's Michigan playing in the national? The school getting $20 million.
Yep.
They're getting $20 million. If they go to the next game, they get another 15, 16. They got to split 50% with 50% go to the school, 50% go to the conference. Mm-hmm. So what you think their answer going to be? What do you think Harbaugh's answer gonna be? Or it's a long way to listen. If it work out for Travis and he go in the first round, then you might open open the side gate a little bit. I'm just, man, listen. We talking about 17, 18-year-old kids. Mm-hmm. 17, 18-year-old kids. I've been on a visit to these places. And when you go to the HBCUs, Jackson State is the one that stands out because of Deion. The rest of them, remember, Doug Williams went back to Grambling and was talking about we need to replace the floor. Doug Williams went back to Grambling. The kids at Howard is complaining about the dorms. They went on a protest. You think that got something to do with the $288 million facility they just put down at Bama? Like, that's in recruiting. I'll tell you the truth. I've talked to Power. They're not worried about that. That's good for Travis. That's great for Travis. Yeah, like, that's how they feel. That's great for Deion. It's great for Travis. But they're not worried. Like,
I don't see how, because it's like the talent pool, like with these 4 and 5 stars, it's like so immense for like all of the teams like in the country, and it's like I can't see it. Like, look at Alabama. Like, I think this week they signed like the top 2 guys in the transfer portal.
See, now the transfer portal is what's gonna fuck some things up.
Can you elaborate on that?
That's gonna fuck.
Snacks mentioned something like that in the group as well.
Because it goes back to this, right? Not to cut you off.
No, do your thing. You know more about it than me.
Kids want to play up. Kids don't want to play down. Mm-hmm. And every kid think he better, right? The MAC freshman of the year at NIU, he led the MAC in rushman. He the MAC freshman of the year. He put himself in the transfer portal because he want to play in the Power 5.
Yeah.
He want to go up. He want, like, damn, I think I could play up. But I'm here to tell you, you can't. It was a reason why you got evaluated the way you did. Mm-hmm. Like, and he potentially could be. It's a lot of things going on. I don't want to down that kid or whatever, but
absolutely,
kids still want to transfer up. Like, a kid of mine at a D3, leading the team in catches. I want to go to D1AA. I'm out. When it's like, damn, like, you could stay and be a big fish in a small pond and do your thing and get your numbers and break records in, because the talent pool at that level, man. I've been in them rooms. Or I give you the example. Laquan Treadwell was the first receiver I trained. And we went down to he had Ole Miss, Bama. It came down to Ole Miss, Bama, and LSU. And he was like, I want to make my name at Ole Miss, for whatever the case may be. You know, he came in, SEC freshman of the year, second team all SEC, come back after injury, first round pick. Laquan 6'3", 212, 4.5, 4.6, a dog. Well, you could compete with him. You trying to transfer up? Like, he just got some things that God made. And then he gets to the NFL level, he have his struggles or whatever, but he land on his feet. Now and he was a 5-star.
Yeah.
He was a 5-star. He got drafted in the first round, and Adam Thielen played over him. For whatever reason, I'm just, man, it's the transfer portal gonna get some kids' feelings hurt because they not as good as they think they are. It's just, man,
where do you bringing it up? I want to talk to you like on a coach level, right? Do you ever have like those candid, unadulterated conversations with like?
I kind of got a method to it. The way I do it is, I say, okay, give me your 5 schools you think you could play at. Kids say some outrageous shit, right? So I say, go to the last 3 years, pick 5 players that played your position, watch your tape, watch his tape, watch his high school tape, watch your tape, watch his high school tape, watch your tape, watch it compared to yours and see what they doing that you ain't doing, and then tell me what you think. Kids come right back. First thing kids on offense, they had a ball in their hand, they say, man, they score every time they touch that bitch. Did you get, like, if you getting recruited, the biggest red flag you could ever have is you got caught when you got out in the open. That's the biggest red flag you could ever have. You got caught when you got in the open. If you can't run past them, what the hell makes you think you can run past them? Because I'm gonna tell you, right, everybody at that level can run.
I'm about to say
everybody at that level can run. Everybody at that level can run. So if you can't run past them, and they did that in high school, now you ain't get recruited, fam. You ain't getting that ain't your school. Go down a level, repeat the same process. Okay, these are schools I like. Okay, I'm compared to them. I'll reach out to the coach. I let the kid tell me, because if he say like I want to play at these schools, okay, I'll reach out. I'll still send your tape and tag him and let him know like, hey, go out there, go to the 1-day camps. Colleges have 1-day camps all the time where the coach out there, you can work out in front of him. He can watch your tape in person, and he'll tell you right away. Them coaches gonna tell you because they don't want to be bothered with you. You can't play here.
And I feel like that's like a good method of tough love because I do feel like as a coach you have to be like I feel like you owe it to the kid as well, like to just be like as honest with them as possible.
Yeah, but I'm big.
You don't want to send kids off. You know what I mean? And have them, and have them, walking around with like crushed dreams and things.
I do that.
I want to steer them in the right direction.
Yeah, I do that because I'm big on building confidence. Like, so I'm big on, this is what you needed. Whatever you think you can do it. Like, especially at the high school level. Like, you get a confident kid. If he think he can do it, he gonna do it. If you get a kid that's not confident, like, you in trouble. Even if he's talented. If he don't believe he can do it, you in trouble. So I kind of want to double back and go back to the whole HBCU closing the gap thing because we both agree that it's a long way to go. So what do you think needs to happen for that gap? Because I know you mentioned earlier that maybe if like Travis Hunter still goes in the first round, maybe you open up the side door a little bit, right? So maybe you now have a few more. Maybe you have a few more top kids in the country decide that they want to go to an HBCU. Yeah,
to that nature, right? But what do you think needs to happen over the course of say maybe 3, 5, 7 years for that gap to completely kind of be like this? Because I'm of the belief that, with all due respect, I don't feel like that gap can never be this way because I feel like you'll never be able to out Alabama a team like Alabama, out Ohio State.
Right. So the thing is, one, it come down to money. Like, honestly, it literally come down to like dollars. And you could look at colleges and look at their recruiting budget and what they got. If you give somebody like people always up here say the CPS send the kids to HBCUs. The HBCUs don't come up here. They don't. Like, I'm sitting in the office. They recruiting budget don't allow them to. That's what's crazy. Like, they would like to, but they can't get up here to fly up here to send mail to talk to a kid. Their credit card limit ain't that high. The coach at Ohio State, he got an unlimited credit card. He could take as many coaches out to dinner if he wanted to. He could take as many high school coaches. He could take as many trips. He could do that. And how many coaches they sit out on the road? Like, the NCAA changed the rule for Power Fives that you could send as many coaches out on the road as you wanted to. So instead of the 9 position coaches, Michigan had like 30 coaches on the road. at one time. GAs, analysts. HBCUs just don't have their recruiting budget. And when you get the kids down there, do you got a nap? Like all big schools got like a nap lounge. They got like a refuel and restore station. Station. You got to put money into the facilities, and you got to put money into recruiting. Like HBCUs don't recruit the North just because they recruiting budget don't allow them to. They can't fly up here. They can't get that many flights where they stay in they local hometown. So the coach at Ohio State, I talked to the coach at Northwestern.
Yeah.
At Northwestern, he flew. He told me he was going to a school in Arizona at 8 a.m. in the morning. Him and Coach Fitz flew back to Chicago privately. Then he drove to see me. Then that night, he flew back out to go to Iowa to see a kid that had signed. They got that kind of money where they could see all their recruits in 2-3 days.
Yeah.
So that kid that like, damn, I just seen they were getting in a recruiting battle with Iowa, they could go see him. The HBCUs can't do that. They don't have that kind of Not only that, you see kids on their bed with all the mail, that shit costs. That shit costs for Jackson State to be able to send all that mail out. Send everything out. That recruiting budget, it gotta, and they just don't have it. A coach will tell you, we just don't have it. Like, I just see somebody, it's gonna take them to look up the top recruiting budgets. All the teams in the top 10. In the top 10 in recruiting. You gotta put that money up there, and it's gonna come back like Deion did all of that. And then they played on ABC. So they're gonna get a portion of that money from that game because they played in that bowl game. They're gonna get a portion of that money. So that's why it's a rat race and Power 5 where everybody bigging up their facilities because they want that money. They want that money that come in on the back end. And it can happen, but like everybody say, the black athlete do got to go to HBCUs. Like they do when they can, but I'm telling you, if my people in the players pit, we're gonna take a recruiter down to visit the Illinois, and I'm gonna show you. We could go. I'm gonna take the kids anyway. Anybody that want to go, and then you're gonna be like, okay, damn, like this is ridiculous. This like it's ridiculous the amount of stuff that they get. You can eat all day. Like they're gonna give you 8. When I was at Illinois, I had 40 pair of cleats for no reason. Hundreds of pairs of gloves for no reason. I want a new pair. I don't like the way these feel. That was in 2010. That's when we can only wear grays. And then you go to Oregon, they're giving you brand new Jordan 8s, custom ones.
Don't get started on Oregon.
Man, Shorty putting them online. They going for $2,300. They selling them. He ain't keeping those. I could see. There's a kid, Bennett Williams, that I trained that was at Illinois. He from Cali. He put his online as soon as he got the box. Extra $3,000 in his $2,500 in his pocket.
And you know the thing with this with the whole with the comment, it would take our proud Black alum celebrities and athletes to pour money into HBCUs. And when I think about like the biggest black celebrity athlete, I think we can agree that's Michael Jordan, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think we can agree that's Michael Jordan, right? And I saw somebody in the pit, it might have been Jay Coates. I was like, I always go back to this because I was a huge Illinois fan in 2005. When
that was one of the main reasons why I went. They brought me to the game. I'm like, live.
Yeah, like when Illinois played on North Carolina. And and I know it's not the same, but to me, if I felt some kind of way because Mike played in Chicago. I know Chicago ain't but Mike came out wearing powder blue, right?
Yeah.
And Mike always shows love to North Carolina, like all the time. Like he blood, sweat, and tears. And somebody was like, well, you know, how you know he won't give it to like North Carolina Tech or whatever. I'm like, I don't think so. You know what I mean? Like,
he don't have no emotional attachment to it.
He doesn't have an emotional attachment.
He'll give them a couple of mil. He gonna give North Carolina. He gonna open the
100 mil.
He gonna open the checkbook up. Like, hey, do what you need to do.
However many zeros that you want, put it down, and you guys are.
But that's the thing with that's the thing with the big white institution. They don't have to call Mike.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to call Mike. They could call somebody else. Like, and that's the issue. Like, if Travis Hunter is one, I talk to coaches, they're not mad. They like, okay, that's good for Travis. We'll wait for the next. Now, if you start to see like 5, 6, 7, then they're gonna start dumping. The amount of money they're gonna start coming out of pocket is gonna be ridiculous. It's gonna be. It's only one kid in the top 100, and that was Travis Hunter in the top 100 that signed with HBCU. Only one. That was it.
And that ain't enough.
That ain't enough.
Like,
that ain't enough.
And
that ain't enough.
For me, now? Let's say that does happen. Do you think that can be a situation where it can kind of like completely screw up college athletics?
No.
Like when you start to like pour like so much money into the athletes and things like that.
No, because they've been doing it. I'm telling you the truth, they've been doing it. Like they've been doing it. They ain't like you just see it start coming out. Like it's people in here from the players fit that people that we know. Think about this. Cam what they said Cam was gonna get $200,000 from Mississippi State.
Yeah.
Fuck make you think him changed his mind? The fuck make you think him changed? Nobody said the amount for Auburn. Nobody, but he's getting 200.
You probably got 5.
There's some people in here that I can't say. I know the number. But on the back end of it, right? On the back end of it, they went to a natty.
Yeah.
So did they return on their investment? Like, did they return on their investment? Like, man, listen.
I always felt like
Reggie got 300. That came out. Reggie got 300.
Can you imagine the bank that USC team with Lindell White, Matt
Man,
White,
that's what I called you on the phone
Reggie
and I
Bush,
told you that day. When I said to you, I said to somebody else, LA didn't have NFL teams. LA until SC got bad, LA didn't because they didn't need one.
Yeah, they were the NFL team.
Yeah, we went out there. We played SC in a Rose Bowl. I know why they didn't have no NFL teams. Like 100%, they didn't need one. For what?
I saw that game with my brother.
Yeah, don't talk about that game. Bring up
I was like, jeez.
Bring up some other shit. That's it got real cold.
One of my favorite players, one of my favorite high school players of all time played on that USC team. RIP to Joe McKnight. How fast was he on the field, Joe McKnight?
Oh, he was coming to our party for us. Like he was good, man. He was just smooth. Like it was crazy how good he was. Like he was just smooth. He caught like a swing.
Yeah,
he took it like 80.
I remember.
He took it like 80, but yeah, that they was ridiculous. Now think about this, right? Getting into NIL. Where Joe McKnight from? You know where he's from?
Louisiana.
Do Louisiana kids leave LSU?
No, yeah.
Hell no. So how much do you think he got off the fact that they just graduated Lindell and Reggie, and they got to get Joe McKnight out of Louisiana?
Yeah.
Come to Hollywood, kid. But even still, the development and things that going. Joe was the number 1 or 2 recruit in the country. He went in the 5th round.
He was.
He went in the 5th round.
He was. To the Jets, I think.
To the Jets. He went in the 5th round. It's so much that go into that, man. Like that NFL, you could be the top number 1 player in the country and go undrafted.
That's
insane, undrafted.
But not insane, but when you got a big talent pool like it is, like in college in general, what is it? 8 rounds, 7 rounds, you know what I mean? Like, so it's not really uncommon, for a guy to be like in the top 100 and probably go like in the 4th or 5th round. You know what I mean? But
so much.
I always tell people though, when it comes to that, like when it comes to like the NFL in general, I don't care like what round a guy went. Like that guy's in the league for a reason.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true. Like, but it's so much stuff that go into football that make a 6th round pick make it. Like, Like Brady might tell you one of the best things that happened to him was Charlie Weiss. Like you don't know that. Like the development that go into it. Like when Jeff Fisher was in with the Rams, golf was trash. And then when McVay come, it's just and sometimes people don't know in the league that number affects you a lot. Like, and it goes back to college. On the college roster, you got 115 guys, you got 70 guys traveling. In the league, you only got 53. So the sideline naked. So you only taking 6 receivers. Your 7th receiver might be nice, but you only got 6. You can only take 6. He get cut. He get picked up by somebody else who need a guy who just got hurt. Like, guys get cut all the time, not because they can't play. Keith Lewis will tell you this. Not because they can't play. They just only got room for 7 DBs. Yeah. Like if you're in college and you are offensive lineman, if you don't play tackle and guard and you a backup, you done. You cooked. You done. Because everybody that's a backup, that 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th guy, got to be able to play multiple spots.
Multiple spots, yeah.
Got to. When the Falcons went to the Super Bowl, when they beat the Packers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Man, what's name was so down with injuries, they had a D lineman playing guard. The Packers, because they only carried 8 linemen, and 2 of them got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot that go into that league, and if you can't learn that system, you can't learn that terminology, your ass ain't gonna be out there. You're not gonna be out there. You're not there. You can cancel that.
All right. So before I go to a quick break, and we wrap this show up, and do. You said you stand for the pit segment, right?
I stay.
All right, it's only 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Like the pit segment, they know how we give it up in the pit, man. You get a chance to ask myself and CJ any sports-related question in the world. We got to answer it.
Oh, what was your question? I got to be prepared.
Yeah. I'm put the battery in your back early. I'll put the battery in your back early. But before we do that, I want to get your final thoughts, your parting shots on HBCUs, PWIs, Power Fives, the gap closing or not, what needs to happen. I just want you to go ahead. I
think the other thing that's misleading about it is when people I see people sharing kids transferring from Power Fives down. Oh, he was a 3-star, he was a 4-star. That's been happening forever. Like kids realize they go to these schools, they're not that good, they transfer down, they get in trouble, whatever the case may be. That's not a sign. That's honestly not a sign. I think it's possible. I think it's possible. But when I say the type of money, a smooth $1 billion.
You said what?
A smooth $1 billion.
You think it'll take
no
$1 billion?
No. If you take Clemson, Alabama, let's take Florida, Georgia, and let's take Ohio State. In the last 5 years, they all put $200 million into their athletic facilities. Just them 5.
Okay.
That's $1 billion. And to spread it out amongst the HBCUs with recruiting budgets and facilities. There you go. There go that would put you up there with them, but I don't think that they should start there. I think they should start trying to. I think the first thing they need to do is get in the FCS playoff. Then they could steal some of that talent that go over there, that go to those facilities, and then, like, remember Appalachian State beat Michigan when I was playing. Now all of a sudden they are D1. They're in the same conference as Temple and all of that. I think that they got to work their way up through there. They got to get in the FCS playoff. Like that's non-negotiable because kids gonna be like, who am I playing?
Yeah.
Who am I playing? You have to show that you can compete with those first white institutions. That North Dakota State done won like 6 out of the last 9. North Dakota State.
Is North Dakota moving up? I think
no, they're not. But guess what? 60% of the kids on their team come from Florida. You can recruit them, but you gotta go play again. The biggest thing coaches always have: we beat them. Come play with us. We beat them. Go beat them, and then you can steal a lot of transfers that go to that drop.
Loud beats.